Green with the Louisville Public Library. Welcome to our summer reading videos. Our theme this year is Tales and Tales, and we're going to be focusing on cryptids, hunting for cryptids this year. And don't forget to register for the program, and of course each week complete the challenges. That will enter you in to win some prizes. Alright, welcome to our summer reading video today. We're going to have this super simple Minerva Monster pencil holder. So it's like a Minerva Monster's foot. It's got like a claw. It's really easy to make. Most of the supplies will be in your grab bag. And of course you can put anything you like in it. It doesn't have to be pencils, but I'm going to put this at my desk. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to go over what's going to be in the grab bag. Now, you will get a can, piece of leather, and a foot that's already done and made for you. All it is just a piece of cardboard with a piece of the cut leather hot glued onto it. So if you did want to make this yourself, you would just need some cardboard, cut out kind of like a circular shape, and then I made this stencil. You don't really need a stencil, but that's just what I used to cut out the leather part. Just to kind of give it that like jaggedy furry edge to make it, you know, like a foot. But honestly, you really don't need the stencil. You could just kind of sketch something out really quick, just make it look kind of furry, jaggedy. But if you want to do that, so really all you need is the can, the foot, and then the piece of leather. And then what you need yourself at home will not be in the grab bag is some hot glue, preferably. You could use different types of glue, like craft glue even, but it's going to be a lot more challenging just because this, you know, dries so fast and is pretty strong. So I do recommend hot glue. And then of course you will need some scissors. You will not need anything else. So the piece will be pre-cut for you, but you're going to, you know, need to cut it down a little bit. So what you want to do is figure out which side of leather you want to be peeking on the outside. I want this like suede part to be on the outside. So this more leather, you know, smooth part will be on the inside. So I'm just going to kind of wrap it around the can. I'm going to put the can where the bottom is. I'm going to put that really close to the edge of this bottom piece, because you want it to be covered, but you don't want this poking out because then it's just not going to sit, you know, flat on the whatever surface. So carefully just kind of figure out where it needs to be, and then you're just going to be wrapping it in the leather. And then where it overlaps is where I'm going to trim some of this excess, just so that I can then glue it down. Like on this one, you'll see the back part where that seam is, where I glued. That's just the back, so you don't have to see that part. So once you have figured out, you can go ahead and trim your excess. And it doesn't have to be perfect because again, we're gluing and this is the back part that you're really not going to see, so it does not have to be perfect. So I'm just trimming some of this excess off once again. Alright, so now I'm going to wrap it around again, and once you meet those sides up, each side, you will want to hot glue it down. So now you can, as you go, kind of put more and more glue. So I'm going to put some right here. This is just, you know, the more glue you use, the stronger it is. That's really all it's doing. You of course need at least some glue to keep it together, but the more you do, the just better it's going to hold up over time. So I used a pretty generous amount of glue to put down this first side. And then where I'm wrapping it, I'm going to put a little bit more glue in here on this side. So just kind of get it down. Just kind of all around the can, just real quickly. And then roll it the glue. So now I've met up with this side and I need to put more glue just to finish off this part, this kind of seam here. So I'm going to be putting glue actually onto not just the can, where the can and the leather meet, and on top of this part of leather. So I put quite a generous amount, and then I'm just going to fold that down, put some pressure there. Pull your glue pieces off as it dries. Okay, so depending on what size of your can and then the size of your piece of leather, because the leather in the bags is not all cut exactly the same, you will want to leave some excess at the top so that you can fold it into the can. But if you find you have too much excess at the top, you can trim this off. Just make sure you don't trim it too close to the top of the can, because then you're not going to be able to fold it into it, which is going to make it look better, versus if you kind of just cut it, it would have this kind of appearance and you'd be able to really see the inside of the can, which you don't want. So you can kind of fold it in like that, where it's open. Just kind of carefully shove it in there. Sort of like that. And then you can just do it like this if it sits nice, but if it doesn't sit nice, glue it. On that one, I did end up gluing it. This one, I think, is just a little shorter, so it's sitting in there really nice. I don't know if I might put a little bit of glue. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this seam. I just put a little bit on the inside. So yeah, you may or may not need to actually glue it inside. It's up to you. Just kind of figure out what looks good, and if you feel like it's not going to hold, or if it looks kind of strange. But I really like that. So now when you look into it, you're not really seeing very much of the can except for the bottom. And then at the top, it has just a really nice smooth sort of edge. So now for the foot that comes in the bag, again, if you don't get a bag and you're making this by yourself, just need a piece of cardboard, and I hot glued it to the leather, or fur if you have like some sort of fur fabric. So then you're going to kind of place it on there. You want the foot, peeking out. You want to see some of that jaggedy part, but you also want it to be on there enough that it's not flip-flopping around. So once you have it placed, make sure again your seam part is at the back, and then just use a really generous amount of glue on the bottom of your can, like quite a bit. This is going to be where you use most of the glue, because you want this foot to really stay on there. And then if you find that you need to kind of fill in some gaps, which you might need to with the glue, that's fine. So I just kind of press it down. And I'll tell you what I mean by like filling in gaps once this starts to dry. So like right here, there's a big gap. If you wanted to fill it with some glue just to kind of have it meet up with this piece of cardboard, just so there's a totally flat kind of even surface. Plus, if you do that, there'll also be just more glue kind of holding it to the can. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put some at this edge here, where the very back piece meets the can. Tons of glue pieces here. I'll just take those off. Okay, so I need to let that dry, but just to kind of show you what it's looking like. Everyone will look different. Again, like this one looks a little bit different than this one. and you can kind of put whatever you want in. I'm going to put this at my desk, so I have, you know, my scissors, my pencils, markers, just whatever you like. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you share pictures with us if you make one. So once again, in your grab bag this week, you will find your can, your piece of leather, and then your leather foot to make your Minerva Monster pencil holder. And then, as far as your incentives, what you need to do this week is check out 10 books, check out 3 movies, and then read 75 pages. And of course, you've watched this video, so that's counting as well. Okay? Thanks for joining us today. Join us every week, June 7th through August 6th, for another cryptid adventure. And of course, stop by the library to pick up your grab bag full of either craft supplies or some cool, fun extra prizes.